The starting point of our garden around our cottage was kind of like a forgotten one, and it wasn't really like maintained or kept in any way for years before we bought the place. And it was grown in, and also like there's plants that don't belong to the Finnish nature and that have just kind of like escaped from like some garden, or possibly even have been planted onto that garden specifically at some point. That cottage area of Lauttasaari has a lot of history, and it's even like identified as this kind of cultural heritage area. And the aim is to keep it very natural and to keep it forest-like, and to keep it like as a recreational kind of, as a nature reserve of in a miniature size for Helsinki residents. And I think it's a good idea, and I also like it very much that surrounding is so natural. And so the aim of our kind of like gardening around the cottage is like, rather than making a garden to undo the gardening that has been done there and in the area before. So we will try to get rid of the plants that don't belong to the Finnish nature. And it's gonna be a tough job because some of them like spread really aggressively, and they're really resilient, and they can grow back from the tiniest piece of root. And there's, for example, this one really tall flower that has originally been brought from Asia, and then it has been used as a garden flower in here, but then it has escaped and spread in the nature, and it's not really such a good thing because it's invading all the living space from the natural plants of our nature. So even though it's going to be tough, we're trying to get rid of the plants that don't belong in this nature. And then instead, so we're gonna have like quite a lot of land plain after digging out those things. And so then we have to figure out then, okay, what to do with that land and what to put there. And the idea is to plant things that belong to the nature and that would kind of like naturally grow there if it was well kept as like this forest type of area. And we've been looking at also, because we're interested in foraging as well, and like using things from the nature like in our food. And luckily this foraging thing is kind of trendy at the moment, so you can already find some information about the stuff that grows in the wild and that you can eat. But then it doesn't seem to be as easy to find information on how to plant those things into the forest or into your garden, and how to take care of them. It's just like that you can find these books that tell like what plants you can eat and which parts of them you can eat, and in what kind of places they grow and how you can find them. But then say that I wanted to like plant, for example, this ukonpalko, which like is really beautiful and it grows in the wild. It's tough to find that information, and it's kind of funny that it's easier to buy these foreign flower seeds for garden plants from the shop than to buy like seeds for the things that grow in our nature, and especially the ones that can also be used as food. Like, wouldn't it make sense to just seed these things that like living in here in the wild, and that you don't have to really keep so much because they belong there? And then on top of that, because we have this kind of everyman's rights in Finland, so you can use certain things from the wild nature, then why don't we plant more of these and then try to get rid of the things that are like intruders and invading living space from natural plants. Yeah, let's see what we come up with this project. It feels a bit overwhelming not knowing so much about the plants and about gardening like in general, but at least so far we're like excited about it, so let's see what we come up with.